Star Trek 57, M23, take 2.
It's got Star Trek. Episode 55, Discovery, Season 3, Episode 9, Terra Firma, Part 1.
Well, look at that. I was just reading about you. Emperor Georgiou dies horribly painful death. Jeez. Read all about it, huh?
What the hell is this?
This is obviously this.
Who are you? And what are you doing here?
I'm Carl.
And you're asking the wrong questions.
Fine. What is that?
What do you call a cute portal? Adorable. A clown held the door open for me. It was a nice gesture. No sense of humor, huh?
Why is it here?
So she can go through. Maybe you should have studied up on doors a little before you came down here.
Okay, here goes. Yankee.
Dan's starting a song. He's got a song
This
together.
can take as long as you guys want it to, but it's up to you guys. Yankee.
Sorry. All right. Please proceed. Proceed with the jingle. Our new sponsor.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yankee Candle Home Inspiration Fragrance in every burn.
All right. Thank you. That was
Perfect.
Dan. Good job, Dan.
Thank you guys for holding out for me.
It's a whole new industry of extemporaneous
We did it.
jingles for non-sponsor sponsors. In this case,
He's reading stuff that the audience cannot see.
Yankee Candle.
Home Inspiration Fragrance in every burn.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and guess that that's what's written on the label. I hadn't realized that earlier.
You thought I was just making shit
Just
up?
making up
honestly-
like slogans for Yankee Candle.
I still respect you.
No, that's why it's so brilliant, because I took something they had and I jingle-fied it. And so, like, that's what they're looking for in big business, is they want someone to jingle-fy their slogan.
All right, we're going to look up the term brilliant later on in this episode.
Dag, yo.
I just said we're going to look it up.
I'm not the writer of the slogan. I'm just the writer of the jingle. There's a difference.
I'm just saying we're going to look it up at some
It's
point.
like somebody in the musical, someone writes the script, but someone else writes the lyrics.
Yeah,
to
you write the book?
songs.
You write the book, and then you write the...
That often happens.
I forgot. The book. You call it the book in the musical business. You write the book.
Yeah,
There's the
a
book, and then there's the other thing. I can't remember what the other thing's called, though.
The forward.
There's a
No.
score. I believe there's a score.
Anyway, welcome to the It's Got Star Trek podcast.
Fragrance in every burn. Sorry. Okay.
No, it's okay.
I
They're going to send us money now. Yankee Candle is loading
Terra
up the dump trunk.
Firma Part 1.
We're going to be drowning in bitcoins.
Yep.
Which is excellent. All right, so
Episode 55.
It's Got Star Trek episode
Season 3,
excellent.
Episode 9.
Episode 55, off to a bit of a rocky start, but that's okay because
I'm back in the studio this week.
Jesse's back in the studio. He was on a secret mission last week.
Hooray,
Dan is
Jesse!
excited. We're all excited to have Jesse back after a successful secret mission out on the out on the plane. I'm not sure what that is. All right, that's just Dan. That's just Dan.
I was trying to be like a bunch of people cheering, but I sounded like I was hissing at you.
That's good old brilliant Dan. Dan.
I don't use the word brilliant nearly as much as y'all do.
All right.
Well, Jesse doesn't use it that much.
Maybe that's why you didn't use it properly.
Damn, Joe, that's fucked.
Hey, my name ain't Joe.
You know, I was just trying to point out that, like, you might think it's more creative to create the slogan and the jingle, but it's actually, in a way, more challenging to take something pre-existing and mold it into something better, which is what you're doing when you take a pre-existing slogan and turn it into something better by synergizing it with your own jingle.
Synergize.
If you write both, you can just write whatever. You can say, poop-a-dee-doop-dee-dee, I like poop. And then, like, who cares about that?
You could indeed do that. And I do recommend to our listeners that they email us at feedback@itsgotstartrek.com or visit us on Twitter. Twitter's a good spot to get in contact with us at It's Got Star Trek.
Twitter.
And you let us know what you think about Dan's composition. I'm in favor of it. I'm very impressed. He seems to be interpreting my comments as some form of criticism.
I think that's just silliness. I'm just not. I'm not being defensive. I'm just pointing out. First of all,
just pointing out that you're wrong.
no. Well, first of all, you're the one who started it by saying Dan doesn't know what brilliant means, and I know you were joking around, and that's fine, and I'm not offended. But I was simply just going like, hey. You say that I don't know what brilliant is? I'm telling you what brilliance is.
He's
Is
showing
what it
you.
was.
He's
I was
showing you
showing
what
you.
brilliant
I was
is.
All
saying-
right. We can transition from there into another form of brilliance, which was this wacky episode of Star Trek Discovery, which was, I really enjoyed it. Terra Firma Part 1. It was a wild episode, to be sure, from my perspective, but I enjoyed it. What did you guys think?
I didn't even realize it was going to be a two-parter. I didn't look that far into reading about it. I didn't know that it was...
I only knew from the title, because
Yeah.
I didn't even look at the title.
I got to keep track of titles for this whole podcast.
Yeah,
Shit.
I didn't even look at the title, so I was like, whoa. I mean, I figured it out by the end that it was a two-parter, but...
I keep track in case like Patrick all like puts me on the spot. It's like, what episode is it? What's it called?
Dan watches. He loads up the CBS app, completely eyes closed, and just starts mashing buttons until Star Trek Discovery plays. And so that way he doesn't see the title.
I just didn't pay attention.
And then he closes his eyes and just listens to it.
It's like often, accidentally watch some CSI or something.
You remember that episode of DuckTales that was about the Terrys and the Fermies?
Woo! Are you talking about? No, isn't that an episode of Key and Peele?
Oh, no, they're talking about...
You know, with the
what was-
Terrys.
The Terrys getting froggy.
Sclounced them. Sclounced them,
Terry's
Janks.
getting froggy. No, the Terrys and the Fermies, it was when there was an earthquake that caused Scrooge McDuck's money bin to go, all the gold fell into the ground. And there was these Terrys and
right.
Fermies guys that were squish balls that were like rolling around and playing bowling games or something. And they were
Yeah.
causing earthquakes. And so Scrooge McDuck had to work with them because they were good guys, really. And so Scrooge McDuck had to work with them and they all, made friends and he got his money bin money back. And
They take like his lucky dime or whatever, number one dime.
oh, I forgot about that. Totally forgot about that.
Yeah, like you forgot about Scrooge McDuck's lucky dime.
You're my
But
number one dime.
You didn't forget about the Terrys and the Fermies.
Terry's in the
I forgot about Terry's. And
I
Fermis.
totally forgot about the Terrys.
What am
and
I
the Fermies.
parroting? You're my number one dime.
I don't know.
Not entirely sure.
I probably didn't get the reference to. I didn't know about the word terra firma when I was watching DuckTales.
He's my number one dime. That's from the episode of TNG where Picard becomes a child and he's talking to Riker.
Oh, he's like number one.
yeah, he's my number one dad. That one.
Oh, I remember
That's
that.
right.
Yeah. No, I mean, I remember the episode. It
That's
took me a
great,
moment
yeah.
to access that creepy memory of...
Because he starts giving people orders
Rascal
and they're like
Picard.
looking at him like, who is this guy giving us orders?
I have a,
They're
part
rascals.
of being really brilliant is having a really good attitude, and I have a really good attitude.
Okay.
I had my 7-Eleven brand Chipwich, and I had the last one.
Oh, there you go.
I had it was the last
Was it
one.
last week that you had forgotten your Chipwich?
2
or-
weeks ago.
2
It was like
weeks
at the
ago?
didn't-
bottom of the freezer.
And
You
well,
nearly had a mental breakdown, as I recall.
it was so. I'll answer the question in orders. It was 2 weeks ago.
Just as a quick aside, this is a Star Trek podcast. We'll get to it soon enough.
I didn't forget the 7-Eleven brand Chipwich style ice cream cookie sandwich, but I'd already eaten like sweets that day, so I just
You had.
Or no, I didn't.
Isn't
eat-
that great in English when you get to say had?
had.
There's that sentence where you can be like, I had,
And I do it.
Or that.
And
Wait, you say that?
I didn't actually have.
can say that
No,
back.
that was the problem. Is I didn't have sweets that day. I just was full, and so I didn't get a Chipwich. And then today I did, and it was not. Jesse, to answer your question, it was not at the way bottom of the freezer. It was still in the top bin. There just were nothing. There's 2 layers in this
Is it-
in the 7-Eleven ice cream thing, and there was just none under the second bin.
It's the 7-Eleven brand.
Yeah.
It's
Tastes
it's not like
alright.
the Toll House.
No.
All right, so scary future guy with the glasses.
It's got ice cream.
he was
Eyeball brains, skull. At the beginning of the episode, there was eyeball brains, an eyeball brain skull.
Yeah. yes.
That was awesome.
Oh man,
And a
I'm loving this.
Betelgeuse.
Yes,
Betelgeuse.
that was cool. A hologram of some sort, or or programmable matter, more likely to make it more fleshy and fun.
But it didn't look all pixely.
It didn't look all pixely. So first that guy,
Kovich?
David
Kovich, right? That's his name.
David Cronutbird.
Yeah, David Cronenberg. His character's name is Kovich, and he's wearing a suit. He's wearing like a future suit. I only noticed that the second time around, like a jacket suit, and he has a robot tie.
Yeah.
Whoa, I missed the robot tie.
Well, I mean, I'm calling it a robot tie, but it was not it wasn't a fabric tie. It was some sort of technology tie.
Techno tie.
And
it wasn't like, hello, master. It wasn't like that.
I don't recall it doing that. It did look super futuristic, but still looked straight up like a suit. So he's wearing a suit and glasses. This guy is getting sort of creepier and weirder as things go along.
His delivery was reminding me of Jet Reno's delivery for some reason, even though he was completely humorless.
He's laconic.
There you go.
Yeah.
I like when people use words like that.
Yeah.
Jet Reno, also laconic.
That's it. I think you hit the nail on the head.
Mm-hmm.
He's a laconic Canadian.
My air filter is ionic. Actually, it isn't, but I saw one in a Sharper Image catalog.
Does your water machine use reverse osmosis?
No, but
water machine.
Remember that band that was called Technotronic?
Yeah.
Did you notice that they had
something different, wasn't it?
They had REM Mark II. They had the second actress who played REM, except she was in the mirror universe in this episode without her bionics.
No, I didn't notice that.
I noticed that. Yeah,
I didn't
notice that.
Detmer didn't have her.
Was she the one that?
Was
she the one that put the fruit on her head and got the knife thrown at her head by Reese?
She might have been.
That
was somebody else.
I think that was
Nilsson.
That was somebody.
Was that Nilsson?
No, that was actually somebody I didn't recognize. But they made a point of showing her so much on camera that I wondered what the deal was.
And Landry was there. Now, the thing that this is the fun part about Star Trek, right? Nilsson, the actor who plays Nilsson, was the original REM. And then she stopped being REM and became Nilsson.
Right.
And the other actor became REM. And then REM died, which was referenced in this episode.
Yeah.
And then that actor was in the mirror universe without the bionic stuff.
Yeah. Because they probably don't do that in the mirror universe.
Wait, they changed
you
REM.
die.
They changed REM's actor?
They changed
maybe from like first season to second season or something.
I think it would. I don't know if this is apocryphal or not. I had heard that the original REM actor did not do well with the REM makeup and prosthetics.
She got sick.
But to keep her around, they created the new character of Nilsson for her.
She does pretty well without him.
And then hired a new REM actor who then was, killed because of the sphere, data, and control. Season 2 Discovery, everyone! Also, Landry was there in the mirror universe.
Oh, right. Yeah,
Landry
that's
was
right.
back.
That's right, yeah. It took me a while to remember who that person's name was, but yeah.
Oh, Rekha
She had
Sharma.
extra attitude for.
Wait, she was in this episode? Rekha Sharma was in it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man.
She was in Battlestar, wasn't she?
She was.
Whoa. Oh, I missed her in this.
She got
episode.
eaten in first season by the tardigrade.
Yeah.
Not eaten, but torn to shreds.
Horribly mangled.
That tardigrade went from like some monster beast to like kind of cute and cuddly.
Mm-hmm.
It was all like, don't hurt me. I don't like the warping. Yeah, it was all sad. Reminded me of like, Oakjaw or something. I never saw that movie, but I saw enough. I saw enough ad for it to know exactly what's happening.
Like that, yeah. It's kind of like
and it was like, oh man, I hear it's really good, and the only reason I haven't seen it is because I get really bummed out by those kinds of movies.
Yeah,
and that makes me like an asshole that doesn't want to face reality. But whatever.
That's how it goes, man.
It's okay.
I won't watch movies where dogs and little boys are friends, or little girls are friends, or whatever, because you know what's going to happen to that dog at some point in the movie.
What if it ends all nice though? There's lots of dog movies that end all nice.
But that's only if the dogs are traveling with other animals.
I knew it. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah.
The Incredible Journey.
Yeah.
All right, so we see Glasses Guy Kovich.
Milo Notice.
We learn about the what was the name of that fella? It had an odd name. The time traveling Yor, similar to Yar. So Yor had traveled forward in time and across from now. Please clarify for me, because this was something even on 2 watches I wasn't 100% sure.
I wrote it down.
Oh, I had to look it up. Yeah.
So I know that Yor crossed either from or to and back. The alternate timeline started by the
they call
Kelvin
it the
universe.
Kelvin universe. Yeah.
Right. So in other words, the Romulan mining ship that caused the incursion with the Spock and the red matter and all that other stuff that created the movies,
they put
the modern movies.
Alternate universe created by the temporal incursion of a Romulan mining ship in 2379.
Yes. So that much I got. What I wasn't 100% clear on,
I can't help you here.
Well, so my assumption was that Yor was from that timeline, traveled into the future, and then across.
And to this time, right, yeah.
I don't know if I'm 100% correct on that,
Something like that, yeah.
It feels like that, but it also could equally be that he was from the quote-unquote prime timeline, and traveled to the future and then traveled back and forth for whatever reason. Maybe he was doing a spy mission or something.
Is it the kind of thing you think where if they travel across universes or back and forth, like the more times they do it, the worse it gets? Or is it just kind of like the longer they stay away, the worse it gets? We don't really know. Doesn't matter, I guess.
The rules they seem to be setting up are that the distance in time and the distance between the universes, because they've introduced this concept of the different dimensions being either closer or further together on some sort of plane. So I am going to rely on our old buddy Tarek to let us know which way is the right way, because he'll know if there's a definitive answer within the confines of this episode with the information provided. He will let us know.
He will have an answer that I will believe.
And you can follow us on Twitter to see what he replies.
There was a lot of people that wrote articles about the episode were mentioning that. So that dude's wearing an outfit that if he was in the prime universe, his uniform would sort of conform to the 2360s, but he was from the 2370s, which if he was in the prime universe, he probably would have had one of those gray kind of outfits on.
Because it was kind of a first season TNG.
Yeah, exactly.
This was an article that was referencing styles of the different decades in the Star Trek universe?
There was a couple, because they were talking about this character.
Yeah, what magazines do you read, Dan?
His timeline, they have
Cool Guy, Muscle Man
a different
magazines?
Uniform.
That's what I read. I'm sorry. What?
So in his timeline, they have a different uniform timeline as opposed when when the Starfleet was changing up their uniform.
But you were talking about the 23
in his universe.
But you were talking about the 2360s versus the 2370s,
because
which is like 10 years apart.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
We're talking about thousands
because
of years.
he's wearing one of those TNG outfits.
He's got Star Trek.
He was.
But it was one from what we're familiar with from early TNG.
I'm totally getting it.
Mm-hmm.
I got it.
But he's supposedly from the 2370s. So he would have.
No, I get it.
If he was in the our prime universe or their prime universe,
ours, we possess Star Trek.
The one that we know, he would have had one of those other sort of gray outfits or something.
So if Star Trek,
something like on the Cerritos, perhaps. I don't know.
So Star Trek takes place in our universe, but the Kelvin timeline obviously doesn't. So that means
takes place in Chris Pine's universe.
Yeah.
The Chris Pine universe.
Mm-hmm. The Pineverse.
The Pine.
Along with what was that other movie he did with the crazy people? And then there was that other movie that was similar. And then he did that movie about like robbing banks with that other guy. You know what I'm talking about.
Apparently Quentin Tarantino is really into Chris Pine.
I believe it. A lot of people are, myself included.
Well, I'm just
crazy aces wild, crazy aces gonna get you aces.
So
something along those lines.
So that universe is in a separate universe from where I am right now, but the Star Trek
smoking aces.
But the Star Trek universe that like from the TAS, that's from my universe.
That's your universe.
And your universe too.
And mine too.
Yeah.
Then why didn't we see Khan take over a huge chunk of the world in the 90s?
Oh yeah.
Where did the eugenics wars not happen?
Maybe they'll have.
Did we do something to prevent it? Did Star Trek: The Next Generation effectively prevent the eugenics wars because all the people who would have participated in the eugenics wars were on Usenet complaining about the Next Generation not being real Star Trek?
Well, okay.
They spent all their time being like, I got to explain why the Next Generation's stupid. A bald captain from France?
Well, take this for what it's worth. Cronenberg was talking about, he was talking about the molecules and being across the universe and forward in time. See, he says molecules
across the universe is a Beatles song.
Okay, that's cool.
Is it a Beatles song?
I don't know.
Yeah, it is.
I thought so.
Cool.
They named a movie after it too.
Okay.
Beatles were
a Beatles musical movie. Yeah.
So what he said is he said that. So Mabel, he says.
Mabel, fucking Mabel.
He says Mabel.
Mabel's hot.
So I says to Mabel, that's what it is. Okay, he goes, molecules fight to go back in time or jump a cosmic divide. So notice he didn't say...
That doesn't make any sense to me at all.
Yeah, it's weird. But notice he didn't say forward in time, as if going backwards is a ridiculous thought. So we were just talking about time traveling backwards. Cronenberg is saying, he's implying anyways that the molecules fight to go back in time, but he didn't say they
go back in time.
But he doesn't say that molecules fight to go forward in time. He should have said, if he wanted to be really specific, should have said molecules fight to go back to their time of origin.
I thought that's what he implied.
It is what he implied.
Is that not what he literally said? He said something.
Dan is correct that
Yeah.
he could have been more clear.
I was saying he was implying that they can go backwards in time. By saying that molecules fight to go back in time, it's implying, and not forward in time, he's implying that you can't go back in time because then your molecules would fight to go forward in time.
Do your molecules then ask who's president in 1985?
Wait, who's president? Nixon. What?
Ronald Reagan.
The actor.
Oh yeah, Ronald
Who's
Reagan.
Secretary of State? Jimmy Stewart.
So that's, something anyways.
All right. That is something.
And there's the interdimensional displacement restriction, which I thought was kind of rough. That's what
You thought they just tacked that shit onto the temporal accords?
Yeah, because it doesn't have anything to do with time. It just has to do with...
I'm kind of with you there. It felt a little like, because even the way he said it was, he was like, it's against the temporal accords for some reason.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, it's a part of that.
But it's silly because I understand why you wouldn't... I mean, okay, there's arguments to be made, obvious arguments to be made for not wanting to travel through time and through other universes. But the thing is that should get its own discussion because going through time...
Its own separate treaty.
Yeah, because going through time, shit just changes and you don't even know it's changed it. Changed it all, so how do you have a fucking war to begin with? But traveling through universes, you're not changing the future or the past.
I know exactly what happened.
Okay.
Somebody on the council, maybe it was the Bolian ambassador or something, right?
Bolians.
They're hashing out this temporal accords. They got your Klingons, you got your Romulans, you got your Cardassians, you got the Sphere Builders maybe from Enterprise. You got everybody on board saying this time travel shit is fucked up. Keeps causing us problems. People get all janky. You get weird shaped Enterprise J's. It's just everything's weird about it, right? So they're all hashing out the deal, and pretty much everyone's on board. But that one guy, like the Bolian ambassador or something, he's just fucking livid because his partner keeps cheating on him with the mirror version of himself. The mirror version of himself just keeps crossing over and sleeping with his wife, and he thinks his wife knows. He thinks his wife can tell the difference, or his partner, I should say. He thinks his partner can tell the difference, right? So he's got a craw. He's got something stuck in his craw.
He's got a craw down.
So he uses procedural hurdles to bend them to say, you know what, we're going to toss in this clause about like, okay, you also can't go between dimensions.
That's fair. I thought you were going a different direction than that.
That's not headcanon. I've derived that from information from the show.
Yeah, so I thought you were going in a different direction where you were going to say they tacked it on just to try to kill the bill. But no, yours.
Is that a Kill Bill joke?
I didn't even mean for it to be, but
All right.
it just kind of happened. I realized it after the fact. I make jokes after the fact. But no, your
retroactive jokes.
Your argument, or what you derived from fact, that's pretty creative. That's more creative than where I thought you were going. So yeah, that's a good point. It was a personal thing. It was corruption in politics.
Mm-hmm. Would you say it was brilliant?
No.
All right.
Because I didn't like your attitude about it. I thought you had a bad attitude.
Fair. That is fair. That is a fair. I'm getting some whistly lips tonight. I apologize.
I wish I could do that on command. So sometimes I get that whistle thing, like that character from the cartoon Robin Hood with the foxes. There's that one guy, but also in Back to the Future Part 3, there's that guy sitting at the table.
Oh, that guy from the Hubba Bubba commercials.
Is he from Hubba Bubba commercials?
But
he does that whistle talk.
Lady and Tramp has the whistling beaver.
Okay, yeah, that whole whistle talk thing. I wish I could do that on command. I just do it accidentally sometimes, and then like in conversations, and people look at me really weird. People, it's the thing where if I'm in people that if it was one of us, even if it's with you guys, I kind of get a look like people are like, ooh, should we bring up what he just did? Should we bring that up? And then I started to bring it up, and everyone's really thankful that I brought it up because it kills the tension after that. Because everyone's kind of like, I don't know if we should bring that up or not. It was subtle, but it wasn't.
Have you ever had that thing where you have something stuck in between your two front teeth? And you want to get it out, but you're in a social situation, so you can't. So then you're talking with somebody in this social situation, and as you're talking, the physics involved, the aerodynamics, the vacuum dynamics going on in your mouth result in the chunk of stuff that was in between your front teeth getting flung out towards the people you're socializing with, and simultaneously causing you to whistle in whatever you said. So you basically just spit a chunk of something in their face and then whistled.
No.
And possibly farted at the same time.
No.
Has that ever happened to you?
Has it ever happened to you?
I'm just asking. It was so great.
It wasn't. I might have had like something fall out of my mouth once.
I might just be missing social situations given the whole what's going on outside. Stay indoors.
Yeah, it was really specific though, so that sounds like it definitely happened. Sounds amusing.
Yeah, I suppose it would be.
It's better than. I don't know if it's better than farting in a conversation or not.
Or like laughing and farting and be like, oh.
Yeah.
That's happened far too many times.
So we did the childish portion of the show. Now we're getting to the super smart. We're so smart.
Oh,
We're so fucking smart. We're so fucking smart. We're gonna say some smart stuff now.
Let's show
So-
people how smart we
Get
are.
ready.
So Georgiou's so sick, her cells go through things now sometimes.
Oh yeah, there was like some kind of smoky mist around.
It was
her, and she was
trippy.
trying to
And sometimes her
kinda
face,
depressing.
her face got all like glitched out,
Yeah.
like Skyrim or something, or
with their little spikes. We're cyberpunk
spikes.
70s.
Yeah, apparently cyberpunk.
She threw her soup on Tilly.
Yeah. See, now I could understand that more than so. Okay, it makes more
Testing out her physics.
It makes more sense for her to be mean to just random people than it is to threaten your doctor. So this is from last episode when she was threatening Colbert. That doesn't make any sense to threaten your doctor. It's a survival.
because she's threatened by
Hold
him.
on, let me finish.
I'm holding on.
Let me finish.
I'm fucking holding on.
What I was saying is, what I'm saying is Tilly counts as a random person. Like, she's just a person. I'm saying the only one who's not random is the doctor. It doesn't make sense to be mean to your doctor. It makes sense to be mean to any other random other person.
And you don't mean random, you mean random as in there's
Not
no...
the doctor.
Yeah. I guess you just mean not the doctor. All right.
Not the mama.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Thank you, Jesse. And it makes sense because
Some average Joe.
it's a survival mechanism to not show weakness to your peers, right? That makes sense. You don't want to show weakness to give your peers a chance to kill you because that's what they do in that universe.
Dan's from the mirror universe.
It is not a survival mechanism. It is not a survival mechanism to alienate your doctor. That's not a survival mechanism by any stand.
You
True.
speak,
Unless you're like Larry David or something.
you speak from the perspective of logic.
Yes, I'm a Vulcan. All I know is logic and
No.
no emotion.
You don't need to be Vulcan to appreciate
No, I'm just
logic.
kidding. I know.
I
I'm
know.
being silly.
I know.
You know, ironically, and I think this is ironic.
All right. Let's get ready.
She wants to piss off her peers so they will attack her, as opposed to not showing weakness so they don't attack her, so she can die as a super battle person. So it would be a survival mechanism to throw shit in people's face for her, but she's actually wants to fight him because she threatened Tilly. She
It's the kind of thing Worf would do and may have done. I have a vague memory of Worf doing something similar.
It makes sense, but like, you know,
Or at least somebody.
Is she
some sort of Klingon?
Is she trying? So it's like, is it a survival mechanism? Is it, or she's just trying to pick a fight? Now with her doctor, if you alienate your doctor, you're not going to get in a fight. You're just going to die of sickness, and that's not noble.
It's more of a
these
death
people.
wish.
Yeah, it is.
9 out of 10 doctors agree.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe it's
Don't fight with him.
Maybe Jesse's right. It's a death wish. Maybe it's just a death wish.
Because the COVID guy was like, you know, you got to watch out for her because she's just going to go nuts on your crew.
Hey, COVID.
Yeah, but that's because she wants
COVID.
Yeah, I know.
Did we already make that joke?
No, but like,
I got to it first.
The fruit was hanging a little low for me, so.
And he wasn't wearing a mask.
Nope. But as Patrick pointed out, though, is that, and this is true, this is like a Klingon universe, you know. Right down to at the end when there was a fight between Reese and Oo. about
Yeah, she was kicking his ass.
like to get they should
Fuck yeah.
they were
Fucking Reese.
he was trying to gain a go up the he was trying to promote himself by killing his superior
Just like
And
on
that's
TOS
Klingon.
on Mirror Mirror.
So everyone in
in our
the
secret episode.
so everyone in the Klingon in the Mirror universe is like Klingon style. We never seen Klingons in the Mirror universe, really.
You seen Klingons?
because they've been like subjected.
No, we have not seen Klingons in the future.
Yeah,
But in the Mirror universe, have we?
I don't think we've seen them in the Mirror universe.
you hear about them.
Did we see Worf? We saw. We
Yeah.
did see Klingon Worf.
Doesn't
and he
really
was,
count.
No, and he was an asshole, and he kind of acted like
That's
just sort of like an asshole Klingon. Mm-hmm. He was hanging out.
We
with
saw
Garrick.
Klingons in the Mirror Discovery. When they-
Klingons in the mirror.
I saw Klingons. I saw Klingons on Dan's Uranus.
Oh no.
Wait, what?
Aw.
Klingons in the mirror.
Klingons in the mirror.
You got Klingons in your mirror.
So yeah,
Kapla.
Kaplow. So her hands go through
Kaplow.
things. Danis 5 is the
That
answer.
name again is Mr. Kaplow.
Danis 5 is the answer. With a 5%
Oh,
chance of survival.
Dan is 5. I thought you were saying Dan is 5 is the answer, and I was going to say that would explain a lot of our conversations.
I read that they named that after Richard Danis, who was a writer for TNG and DS9.
Did his name rhyme with anus?
It may have. I don't know if it rhymed with anus or if it rhymed with anus.
We are being particularly childish
Or
this
anus.
evening. I apologize for that. That's largely on me. Largely on me. I've had a long week.
I'm trying.
Yeah.
I'm trying to keep it clean.
Keep it real.
Real dumb.
I forgot that was Tilly called Killy in the last Mirror
Yes,
universe?
That's
that
what
was
they
her
called her,
nickname.
yeah, okay. And it was
I don't particularly like that mirror Tilly. She's kind
her hair's all
of scary.
smooth.
Yeah.
I like her because she is scary, maybe.
But so Killy was
She's
like a
like
nickname.
weird scary.
She's
not like,
weird. I'll give you
not-
that.
She's not like Georgiou scary. She's like weird scary.
So that's like a nickname is Killy, but Georgiou refers to her as Captain Killy, so it's now become her official name, which seems kind of silly.
It's a little silly.
Yes. Yes.
But she's being
Sylvia.
Sylvia. Is that her name? So what?
Sylvia.
Tilly?
Sylvia Tilly. Yeah, that's her name.
Sylvia. Oh, that's right. Her last name is Tilly. Yeah, I keep forgetting that. So yeah, Saru's worried about the Emerald Chain. Oh yeah, they're always like, Saru can't seem to get a command across. Everyone's fucking saying like, nah, let's not do that.
So
he's got to start feeling a little bit sort of like belittled a little bit at this point.
consider this. Consider that.
Sorry. I'll
What,
try
is
not
it a
to.
song?
It's just, I feel like I'm doing too much of the, you say like a phrase and it reminds me of a song, so I start singing the song. I was going to sing
Let's
that.
give it a try.
You're doing it.
Consider this. Boop bop boo lop boo chate. Consider this. I said enough.
Is that the REM song?
But that was just a dream.
Is that the REM song
That's banana cream.
from REM?
Yeah.
There's a version
What
of that
else?
song that's like in major, and it sounds
It's a
all funny. It's
frequency.
like in a major.
Oh, I've heard that. That's
yeah, isn't
fucked
that
up.
weird? It sounds
Yeah.
so weird. Yeah.
So, what, who?
There's a version that they recorded it
Major
in like
key.
in a major mode
did they?
instead of a minor mode.
Whoa.
It's all triumphant and evil
Yeah.
and horrifying.
Oh, man.
Anyway, no, the music's fine, Dan. Let the music flow through you. What are they going to do to you?
I just don't want to be tedious. You know what I mean?
I understand. It's not, if it's tedious, we'll edit it out. We'll just put a long
Edit it out. Yeah, just so it's like people can just wonder what was there. Redacted.
I'll be all like, I says to Mabel, I says.
Just throw that in there. That'll be the beep. That's funny.
But consider that Saru and Vance, that conversation they have. Saru is trying, sincerely to do the right thing. He understands the Federation needs discovery. And, saving one person, according to the rules, you're supposed to prioritize and weigh all that stuff out, right? Vance gives him the advice. He says, look, I think the quote is something along the lines of, one of your crew members is drowning. If you don't save her, you'll never look at yourself the same again. Your crew will never look at yourself the
you
same.
can't let her drown.
The advice he's giving to Saru is almost identical to the advice that Killy gives to Georgiou in the Mirror universe. She tells Georgiou, like, if you don't kill Burnham for her treason, your loyal crew is not going to follow you anymore. They're going to be like, what the fuck is going on? In both cases, they're being advised to react to something that happened in a particular way, and if not, they will lose the support of their crew. It will negatively impact their power structure.
You know what what doesn't help your support of the support of the crew is if you're dismissive of the captain's commands. Like, he could have said that in private. If Admiral Vance didn't have to, in front of Burnham and other people, say, oh, well, after Saru goes, we shouldn't do it. He goes, well, I'll allow it. Like, he should have done that in private, but been like, hey, let me talk to you for a second. Are you sure you want to do that? You might want to, save it because we're drowning and stuff like that. Because if you question the captain's authority in front of your crew members, I mean, it's only a couple crew members.
That is sort of interesting because the other crew member there is Burnham, and he knows Burnham's always like kind of a loose cannon, and maybe he's keeping his eye on
I thought there was
her.
someone else there. Was it only Burnham?
No, there was somebody else too. I can't remember.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess it's
Tilly was there.
Yeah.
First
Tilly.
Officer Tilly.
But I think maybe there's part of Vance that's just like, listen, we got these old school Starfleet guys, and they can just do all this stuff. So like, it's okay. Like, they can do, like, I keep letting them do this thing every week. Like, they did this thing, they did this other thing. Like, I'll let them do this other thing and see what happens. They'll be back in time for the Emerald Chain.
They'll be back in time for the potty.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's always this background of Emerald Chain going on, and at some point, I imagined it's got to explode, because that's sort of like the excuse for drama is like, well, the Emerald Chain's doing shit, but we haven't really seen much of what they've done.
Is the Emerald Chain a
I guess there
modern
were two-
version of like a future version of a pearl necklace? Like Marge Simpson's wears?
Oh, my.
Yeah, like those.
like Marge Simpson wears.
It's like aliens give Emerald
My grandma
Chain.
used to enjoy having a pearl necklace.
The aliens give emerald chains, and the humans give pearl necklaces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gross.
So,
I didn't mean to derail you. You were talking about the Emerald Chain.
The Emerald Chain.
In the
Well, I made the statement that the assertion that Emerald Chain, they just talk about it, nothing ever happens. To be fair, actually, there's been 2 episodes about the Emerald Chain fucking shit up.
Yes.
So, but I mean, they still are always like, Emerald Chain, oh no. They can just say the Emerald Chain, oh my God, they broke their butts and now they're mad. And then, like, by the end of the episode, they could go, they fixed their butts, so they're not so mad anymore.
Well,
and
we
like,
didn't-
that could have been the whole drama.
We
The
didn't
reason,
see,
the impetus for everything.
We
Catalyst.
didn't see Saru get into any sort of trouble over. Well, he didn't, strictly speaking, disobey orders last year. Last episode, he had a justification for his actions. However, his actions did result in increased tensions with the Emerald Chain. So now they are doing their little training
true.
exercise show, their war gaming show.
Which, according to book, is not just training.
Yeah.
I
All right, let's get it.
was
out
trying to
there.
say episode and exercise. Exercise. Yeah. Go ahead.
But Vance didn't seem to mind. I'm sure you could possibly critique that, or you could just go take the information as Vance is a practical guy. For better or worse, we've met other captains like that before. Sisko's a little like that.
That old salt's learned a thing or two.
I mean,
in his
I
day.
think that there's a lot of practicality over protocol, because there's certainly protocol, but I mean, they're just in such a different environment than most of Starfleet's existence. So they're trying to keep it together, but you gotta do what you gotta do.
As Saru once said, we must lean on protocol, even when situations are unclear. No, shit, I fucked that up.
Especially when
I
situations are
changed the
unclear.
entire meaning of the quote.
Do you want to give it another try?
Yeah.
So what the audience at home can't see is that when Dan does his Saru quotes, he points his finger high into the sky.
Show him smart.
Just really high into the sky to be all like, I'm Saru, I'm saying some Saru type stuff.
With my penis fingers.
With his penis
And
fingers.
kind of waggles it around up in the air a little bit.
But, because as Saru once said, we must lean on protocol when situations are unclear. That's what Saru said. You were talking, Jesse, about protocol.
Yeah. Saru is all about the protocol.
Yeah. Yeah, he's all about protocol and comfort and just like routine and just having someone above him to tell him what to do when he really needs it. He commands respect and he can tell people what to do, but he really likes having someone above him to kind of tell him.
He's not totally
what
used to
do.
being the guy yet.
Yeah.
He's still getting in there. Yeah.
I heard you were the guy.
You're gonna make some mistakes as a young firm captain.
He's still
You're gonna
doing a
make
great
some
job.
mistakes.
Is he young? How old is he for a Kelpian?
I don't know. We don't know nothing about
I have no
Kelpians.
idea how old any of these people are.
We don't know about no Kelpians. It's a new thing. It's a new thing for us. So the Rubin Nebula. I believe that is named after Vera Rubin, who is a famous astrophysicist. I believe she was the astrophysicist who discovered dark matter.
Oh, cool.
I think she died recently. So I think that's what that must be referring to. The Reuben Nebula, where that Kelpian ship was there.
Which
Okay. The part of Patrick this week will be played by Dan.
So you notice that
You didn't even use the word witch that time.
Sandwich. Saru is investigating this whole Kelpian mess. So we know now that, first of all, that the distress call did not come from the Discovery. It came from
Right.
I can't remember the name of the ship.
The u.s.s. Haraga Ganai. No, that was the Robert Weems who was supposed to help them. It was
Weems.
It was the Kayeth. There's so many apostrophes all the time in random
Sounds Klingon, but I guess not.
K-H-I''E-T-H.
That's just because of the apostrophe. Klingon's got the apostrophe.
Dr. Issa of the KSF Kiev.
But like the
Registry number
Trill's got
971014.
apostrophes all over the place too.
They all do.
They all do.
All them do.
To Paul.
It's like alien translation is.
Yeah. So we know that's from them, the Kayeth, and not the not the Discovery. Whatever.
Not the burn.
But Saru is immediately interested, obviously, because this message was like a few years before the burn, but which was over 100 years ago. And they contacted Robert Weems, the U.S. Haragi Ganai, because said he was going to get there in a couple weeks, but he didn't get there for 6 months. So, knowing all this, Tilly asked him if he wanted to report to the Admiral, and he's like, nah, man, we're not going to do that. We're going to fucking do this on my own. Because he was pissed, because everyone kept disrespecting his commands and his orders.
Is that what you think?
And so he was finally just like, well, fuck you. If you're just going to disrespect my orders, I'm going to disrespect your orders. I'm going to do whatever the fuck I want.
I think
you apparently going to do what the fuck you want.
Taken aback because Kelpians were involved. I mean, there's also the fact that this doesn't really tell them anything.
Yeah,
they
but
still don't know anything. I mean, this is,
I also just thought it was
part of the story.
A perfectly reasonable thing to be like, look, he's busy. He's busy with the fucking emerald chain.
Well, that's reasonable too.
He obviously is motivated by.
They just don't know enough yet.
He is obviously motivated by the fact that they're Kelpians. He wouldn't just do it just to say fuck you.
Yeah.
But he probably had second thoughts and was like, I should go to Admiral Vance. Then he was probably like, no, fuck that guy. I'm gonna do the fuck I want. I want to do this. They do what they want. I'm gonna do what I want.
Vance.
Does that fit into Saru's character?
Yes, because he's coming to terms with the fact that he wants to be captain and no one's fucking listening to him.
All right.
Like Burnham just like goes off on her own when he tells her to do shit, and now the Admiral's like, when he's like, hey, we shouldn't go do this thing with this person. The Admiral's like in front of everybody is like, no, we should. All right.
He was pounding his fist on the desk, and his dangly shit was coming out the back of his head.
So he's got subordinates. Disobeying him, and he's got his superiors disrespecting his orders in front of his subordinates. So he was just like, fuck that.
I think we know the character that Dan identifies with on Star Trek Discovery.
Someone who is not actually Saru, because Saru doesn't act like that. Someone I've made up. I've inserted myself into Star Trek.
You're like, I want to be captain. I like Saru.
I will be captain.
Turn him into a paranoid lunatic. They fucking don't listen to me. Anyway. All right. So that was a jolly bit of fun.
But you get what I'm saying, though.
Yeah,
right?
but we get what you're saying. I don't disagree. I had not interpreted that way. I had not interpreted it that way myself.
Okay, that's fair.
But I'm now listening to it. I'm incorporating it. It's folding into my mind. It'll now be a permanent part of my recollection of this episode.
Like when you fold batter into a cake or whatever, don't you fold things into things?
Yeah, or like a meringue.
Yeah, usually eggs and milk.
Or if you're folding layers for a puff pastry. You want to make a puff pastry, you gotta just put butter.
Put some meat in that puff
layers
pastry.
Gotta
layer it.
Some ground.
Is this samosa? Would you consider samosa a puff pastry?
Sure, kind of.
It's kind of sort of.
It depends on the samosa. You can get puff pastry samosas.
Yeah, it probably depends on what they use.
But they don't always use them.
I haven't always had I wouldn't say I would normally have a
I wonder
puff pastry
what would
samosa.
be.
It's a different kind of batter.
What would you say is bog standard?
For what?
You see, I don't know what they make that batter out of.
Bog standard samosa.
That might be like a chickpea batter or something. I don't even know.
But the actual pastry surrounding it.
Don't know.
Oh, you're talking about the batter. Oh, the batter.
Yeah, the batter itself. They might have other stuff in it.
So write us in at feedback@itsgotstartrek.com or Twitter at It's Got
You know,
Star Trek.
People in the UK that know how to
And
make
let us
samosas.
know, let us know what your recipes for samosas are. We'll aggregate them, average them, we'll determine what the median dough type is.
I'm liking this
Let
new.
us know the bog-standard recipe.
this new way.
Dan, are you about to make a moss joke?
No, a moss joke.
Because you said I'm liking.
Oh my god, I'm not that smart and clever with words. What I was trying to say is I'm liking this new way of you getting us back on track. The way you get us back on track is if we're talking about something random, you just say, if you have any opinions, here's our email address. Because that way it brings us back at the ranch, plus you get to promote our email address one more time. So
Yeah.
it works.
And it sounds
social
like
media.
we're serious about
Yeah.
what we're talking about.
Yeah, there you go. So this is all done on purpose.
Even though there's sufficient evidence throughout the rest of the podcast to demonstrate our seriousness.
Who are these guys?
Fluffer and fuckatash.
Fuffer and fuckatash.
Fluffer and fuckatash. All right. Yes. So we move along because there's a lot going on in this episode, but I found it to be a short episode. I don't know.
Yeah.
I forget about looking at the time. I don't know if it was the pacing or what.
I agree with you.
It seemed to, it's a 2-part episode, so it did seem to end abruptly. There's a lot going on, but so much of it is at the sort of that first chunk of the episode, and then we have most of it focuses on the mirror episode, with a few little interspersed chunks, but mostly it's in the mirror universe episode for the latter chunk of it.
Yeah, there was a lot of sort of like information and stuff flying around at the beginning, and then it was kind of prepping for the next part, which was going into the
Craziness.
The craziness.
And so they get to Danis, was it Danis 5?
yeah, dog.
Yeah.
Danis 5.
Near the Gamma Quadrant.
And they meet Carl,
Yeah.
played by Jim Guilfoyle.
Paul Guilfoyle.
Paul Guilfoyle. Paul.
I didn't get that he had a name.
He was on CSI. Yeah, he
was
called himself
on,
Carl.
He's on Boardwalk Empire.
Oh, he did.
He's been a bunch of stuff.
Is he like a Q or something like that?
I
Maybe.
think he's a guardian of forever.
Yeah, that was the other thing.
This we need to discuss.
Oh,
Because he's reading that newspaper.
He's reading the Star Dispatch,
Yeah.
which is the paper that was from the
City on the Edge of Forever.
City on the Edge of Forever,
Whoa.
which is the paper that Edith Keeler's reading.
Whoa.
So that's to me a big clue.
So he's he's connected to the so-called Guardians of Forever, which are just those portal things, but
Yeah.
he works for them or something.
They're like above the Guardians of the Galaxy
Is that the same shit that was
power chain.
in the animated series?
Yes.
Yeah, because they went back. Yeah,
For
there was one of those.
Yeah.
Yesteryear, is that what you said?
Yesteryear.
Yeah, that's right.
That was
we did it. We did a whole podcast.
Yeah,
on it.
that
We
was
did a
episode.
podcast.
That episode was intense, man.
Yeah.
I think that's what, like episode. What episode is that?
That was
Yeah.
like-
Look it up. Go look it up. That's a
Because
good episode.
we talked about the first two, I think, of that one, and so that was one of them.
People sleep on the just a programming note to the audience. People tend to sleep on those TAS episode podcasts that we do. You should go check it out. Those are fun.
Yeah,
Those are fun and interesting. The episodes are good.
It's good Star Trek.
The podcasts are good. We're particularly good. We're a lot funnier than and more informative than we are currently.
Yeah.
We've got our shit together.
That was a better podcast. Than
We're
this.
getting worse as time goes on, really.
Yeah, dreadful. It's absolutely ridiculous.
So,
Calculus.
so when they land on the planet, before they meet this dude, Burnham's all like, "I've never seen a planet look so," and then Georgia goes, "Empty." Now, planet's empty. I mean, the immediate area is empty. Like, you
Right.
can't, it's like what? It's just like Alaska or the North Pole or something.
Pretty much every time they've dropped down on a planet, it's
Yeah.
been all empty around.
So the only thing I can think is unless the scanners, they were looking at their scanners and the scanners are like, this planet's empty. But that couldn't have been it because they didn't pick up on Carl until they were right next to him. Their scanners
Yeah.
didn't pick up Carl, so why would they pick up other people around? Unless Carl had some super...
Carl's a bit of a sneak, I bet.
Maybe he snuck in,
Yeah.
through some kind of intertemporal dimensional thing. That's the only explanation I can think
he's
of.
definitely got some-
Otherwise, how do they know that planet's empty, I don't know.
He probably wasn't registering on the tricorder.
I bet their like future digopads can probably read all sorts of shit on the planet.
They can do like a level 10 diagnostic, 10 times a day.
yeah, like it was nothing.
Like it was a level 3 or something.
Paul Guilfoyle plays the so he might be the Guardian of Forever or a Guardian of Forever, but it is a different thing. Like, what is your thought about if it is the Guardian of Forever, they did present it differently? Is that cool or?
It's a different kind of doorway thing. That's radically different.
What do you call a cute portal?
See, I like this.
Yeah,
so much.
right. Adorable.
Adorable.
I know, and like that they didn't have any like patience for any of that. They're just like, who the fuck are you, and why are you telling us these dumbass jokes?
A clown held the door open for me. It was a nice gesture.
Yeah, it's like we have no sense of humor at this point.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
Stop
Yeah,
fucking around.
Burnham's always like, "Where's the door now? Tell me."
I'm Michael Burnham. I don't have a sense of humor.
Yeah.
Part of what was it? What was it? Part.
I was raised by vultures.
Bilbo Baggins. But
My 111th birthday.
oh man, like I laughed so hard, I'm dizzy. I'm possibly
Like,
gonna faint.
I like all of you more than I should, or something.
Yeah, right.
The
That was a good one. I like the snow collects in his brim of his hat.
Yeah.
I do too. I do. Just the guy in general. I thought the vibe was cool. I've never been I've not been that much into Doctor Who. I have a great respect for Doctor Who. It's just I personally never was into it.
It's a little off.
But this
Shit took up a whole wall at the video store.
this had a vibe, a Doctor Who-y vibe to me, even as a non-fan. So I could be completely mistaken on that. But that was the first thing I thought of, for better or for worse. I liked the door aspect. I liked his ridiculousness. Now I remember
He's talking about like answers following doors following you, and answers in question order. That's like I didn't.
That was
Ridley.
That was a
Yeah.
shout out to Alex Trebek.
Yeah, well, it was kind of.
Oh shit! I just got it.
And so first of all, with his joking, you're right. He was joking, but like they're being all serious. But like Georgiou's face is all gibbly and crazy, and Michael Burnham is all super upset about it. So it's like, all right, yeah, they're not ready to laugh at that point. He's all Ridley, which is a little interesting. So I'm not entirely clear what to make of that yet,
Yeah,
but I yet
I don't know what to make
enjoyed it. I was confused a little bit. Wasn't sure exactly what they were going for, but I guess it'll make more sense, presumably on the other end of it.
Yeah, I felt like I wanted to watch it because I'll frequently watch something over and over again. Just to like, there was a scene where Georgiou kicking that I think they botched. That I kept watching over and over and over again. And this, I was tempted to do that, to try to really get what he was saying. And I'm sure there's a ton of people out there that understood it perfectly the first time, but I'm not that smart or whatever. I mean, I'm pretty fucking smart, but I'm not smart like that.
Smarter than me.
Pretty
Pretty
that's
goddamn
not
smart.
true.
You're the smartest guy around.
Oh, you guys. I'm not smart like that.
Well, there's a reason why you're drinking Perrier and I'm drinking nothing.
That's good. That's a good point.
I'm drinking La Croix.
I think exactly. Perrier, La Croix, jack shit.
Yeah.
We got the priority order right there.
But I was saying, I didn't rewatch that scene a whole bunch, and I was tempted to because I was like, what is he going on about? And I was just okay with just having him say it and not needing to really know.
Yeah.
And that's unusual for me because I get kind of obsessive. And so I was just like, I just enjoying this character. I'm not going to like over obsess about this one scene and try to parse it perfectly. And,
I think Paul
maybe there just
Guilfoyle-
wasn't that much to it. I
think Paul Guilfoyle, the actor, helped in a large way. He was so charming.
Yeah, he felt
and
good to watch.
interesting. This guy sitting in the
comfortable.
snow. I mean, it was an odd image that I think that pulled me in and let me accept it. That and it really, the whole episode really, but particularly this scene was really TOS-y, really old school, like super
Definitely,
old school
yeah.
Star Trek. Like a lot of times we're like, oh, this felt like old Star Trek. This felt like extra old Star Trek.
Sort of like old school science fiction, just like this
Precisely.
surreal weirdness
Yeah.
in the middle of nowhere. He's wearing some antique outfit newspaper.
Was that a haiku?
It could be. I don't know. I don't think it was. Stalmatz's blood. Stalmatz's blood is all over the floor.
It's all over. You can't clean it up.
No, wait.
So Georgiou said, she was saying that Mirror Burnham Mirror Michael wouldn't have bothered trying to make her feel better because because Burnham was saying something about like, I can't even remember what kind of nice thing she was saying, or she was trying to console Georgiou or whatever. She goes, the other Burnham wouldn't have tried to make me feel better. She would have found a solution already, you know? And all I could think was like, that solution probably would have just been to kill her.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah,
And
right.
so not,
Apparently, she would have been happy about that.
yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
That's their style.
There's not all solutions are good solutions. But yeah, it's interesting because Georgiou, she wanted to be killed by Mira Burnham, but she felt bad about killing Mira Burnham. That's the whole thing. And Georgiou wishes Mira Burnham would have killed her instead because she knows that Mira Burnham would have appreciated it. So it's like, I would feel bad about killing you, but I know you'd like it if you killed me. So I'd feel good about you killing me because I died as a warrior. And it's kind of twisted. It's pretty fucking twisted.
It is fucked up.
Terrans are fucked up.
I mean, no, being like dying in battle, that's more than just the glory of dying in battle. That's some fucking weird shit.
It's like, I want to get killed by my daughter.
Yeah, right. I want to make
And
her
Michelle
happy.
Yeoh carries it off. She is so brilliant in her physicality, in her expressions. Little things that she can do with very subtle expressions. You can tell whether she's like fake angry, real angry, a little bit scared,
right.
a little bit confused,
Making a joke.
Yeah, it's all coming through very clearly.
Yeah, and you can, when her expressions, when she's actually, because she always has that look like, fuck it, who cares, I'm on top. But every once in a while she'll give a look of sort of like concern, and you can really tell that.
Flashes.
Yeah, but her wanting to die. What was that movie? This is a spoiler for that movie where the guy wanted to have sex with the girl, but she was a necrophiliac. So
Oh yeah. What's the name of that movie? I know the name of that movie.
He ended up killing himself because because that's the only way he could have sex.
It's a fucked up movie.
It was the name of the girl. It was the girl's name. Was the name of the...
No.
I never actually saw the movie. I think I just heard about it.
I watched that movie in college for film class.
I can't remember if I've just heard about it or actually seen it.
I watched Chuck and Buck with you for that film.
Yeah, that was we discussed that before. Chuck and Buck.
Wait, you saw Jesse? The girl.
I can't remember if I actually saw that or if I just heard about it.
Well,
I didn't need to see it.
We'll start up a new movie podcast called "It's Got Movies," and
that we can't remember the name of.
And that'll be the first movie.
What's that movie called?
We review the one where the girl is a necrophiliac.
You know that one.
And her boyfriend shoots himself in the head so that he can have sex with her.
There should be a podcast.
And it's romantic somehow.
There should be a podcast where we bring up subjects that we don't research on the internet, and we don't have the internet to look it up.
That's most podcasts.
So we just that's just a podcast.
That's just most podcasts. That's your bog standard podcast right there.
That's what people are attracted to podcasts for, because nowadays people used to have a conversation for hours about some shit that now you can resolve in about a minute, right? Like, what's that actor's name? You talk about it forever.
I bet you people are so fucking lazy they still don't look it up on the goddamn Google. Like they just keep arguing about
on that goddamn Google. These kids in their goddamn Google.
Well, in podcasts, it's just like a throwback to those good old days, because everyone just doesn't.
Where you just have a bunch of white people talking to you through your headphones.
What are you talking about? The good old days of podcasts? What is
It's mostly white people.
The good old
mostly
days.
White men.
Podcasts imitate the good old days
podcasts.
before.
I think the good old days is a bad term to
I don't feel good about using it anymore as Patrick's stalking. It's making me, because you're asking me to clarify what I mean by the good old days, and I'm like, the good old days when, and Patrick's like, white people controlled everything. I feel bad now.
with the country clubs.
Yeah, that's true. They still do.
Yeah, but it's the grip is loosening.
Yeah,
the grip is loosening, and we will do what we can to help.
Boy, are white people mad.
Well, I mean, we would fit in very well, I'm sure, in the mirror universe, which is again an opportunity to do some totally crazy campy shit. I do generally enjoy it. I think that again Michelle Yeoh and Sonequa Martin Green really make it work. All the actors are doing a great job with it, but Sonequa Martin Green looks like she's having a fucking brilliant time.
Dude, she looks like fucking Gozer from Ghostbusters.
She's got the Egyptian eye makeup, the black makeup. Oh,
yeah, look at
lipstick.
Either watch Ghostbusters, the 1984 one.
Shit, crazy
I know
lipstick.
precisely what you're talking about.
Or the end scene. If you look, the hairstyle, everything is the same. And actually, when she's walking on is it the Karen?
Karen?
Something like that.
Karen, yeah, it's the Karen. At the very end, when Georgiou's gonna execute her or whatever, that scene.
Is that on the Karen? They're still on the Discovery at that point, I think.
How is that spelled, Karen?
Charon?
Like the
moon of Pluto.
The guy, okay, yeah. The guy that helps you across the sticks or whatever.
Yes.
So they are in Discovery when you first see her, yes. But then there's a scene, I think at the end, that they go to she's going to the Karen or something. Giorgio makes some comment
I think they're on the way there.
Yeah, because Giorgio makes some comment
they're not on it.
Because Giorgio makes a comment saying, Michael, you're here paving making way for me to get on the Karen or something, or I don't know. She was talking, but basically seemed like,
Yeah, prepping, making preparations.
yeah, it seemed like Burnham was trying to get to the Karen at least to like do some shenanigans or
Or at
something.
least was getting someplace.
Yeah.
Anyways.
That's a good point. I hadn't considered that, and that's quite likely, I think.
And she was walking, and she was even walking like Gozer was. If you watch Gozer, this sort of like hippie kind of hippie as in full of hips.
Good excuse to watch
hips and chest, full of hips and
Ghostbusters.
chest.
Ghostbusters is kind of a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no Christmas in it, but it's like the ghost of, Jesus is a ghost.
Christmas
I didn't
past.
even realize that the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man wasn't really a thing.
It's just made up?
It's just made up. I didn't realize that for the longest time. Now I'm
Yeah, it's a fictional corporation.
right. Yeah, and it's
Do you remember the fictional corporation?
I didn't
from,
realize that. I thought it was some real thing.
What are some other fictional corporations?
Kind of looks like the Pillsbury Doughboy.
Those guys in RoboCop.
Yeah, what was it called?
I forget.
What about Acme? The Acme.
Oh, Acme's a good one.
yeah,
Acme's a
that's
good one. What about from that video game franchise with the scary dogs that jump out of the fucking shadows?
Resident Evil?
Yeah.
I don't remember any of these.
Wasn't that like Octocorp or something? Something weird like that.
Oh, there's Skynet.
Skynet.
Skynet's
People
a good one.
people like that shit.
Yeah.
Skynet is good.
Amazon.com.
Yeah, right.
That's
yeah,
a good one.
That's not a
Yeah.
real company.
Yeah. Made that one up.
There's always something like something
SpaceX.
something
Give me a
core.
break.
Omnicore, Future Core, Unicore,
Mantex.
We
Sphere
don't-
Core.
we-
That's real. Mantech is real.
Man-
I
Mantech
know
is
it's
real.
real, but I don't believe it.
yeah, I can't believe it either.
Mantech is a
It's
see
a
that
big
shit.
company. It's a big
it's
fucking
like a
company.
recruiting company, isn't it? Pretty much.
I thought it was a.
Or
You
do
know,
they
I'm
do
not.
everything?
I'm
no,
not.
you're right. They probably do
I
everything.
think
They
they-
recruit men.
I think they like manage stuff.
I think they're just your standard tech contracting type company,
Bog
with probably
standard.
with tons of secret government shit that they
All
do.
sorts of. We live in the D.C. area, so there's a bunch of
just in
crazy
case you
secret-
didn't realize.
secret government.
I guess you didn't know.
You couldn't tell by the
accents.
elitist tone in our voice.
The elitist tone in our voice, our inside the beltway accents,
Where every tech job is government
and
related
our
somehow.
total lack of apprehension of what's going on out there in the real America.
Well,
So
yeah.
the Mirror Universe is campy. It's fun. Michelle Yeoh, Sonequa Martin Green, they really do carry it in a lot of ways because it's so fun to watch them, particularly when they start interacting. Because even before the end, I mean, at the end is really fun when Sonequa Martin Green is like acting full on nutcase, but right from her introduction, it's okay. You know, it's like it's fun where she's talking about like cutting the hands off of artists and blinding them. It's like they keep finding ways to make people in the Mirror Universe even more fucked up.
So Georgiou, that's one of those moments where you can tell she's like kind of disturbed by like what Burnham says, the fucked up shit, because that is pretty fucked up. Is this empathy a new thing for Georgiou, or did she used to be terrible like Burnham, and was it the discovery that made her, more of an empathetic character, or did it start happening in the Mirror Universe? Because one of the complaints that Burnham had why she wanted to assassinate Georgiou is she was like, you're becoming weak. And so was it the discovery that caused Georgiou to get more empathy, or was it just kind of happening like when in the Mirror Universe? And if it was happening on the Mirror Universe, it probably was happening because of how she cares for Burnham. That's probably what caused it.
We see it.
It's just, like, fucked up.
We see it when she's back in that whatever mirror version, whatever version of the Mirror Universe that she goes to.
And then
We see it, but it has been happening inside of her since, because there was a whole season essentially where she was on the Discovery, or sort of on and off the Discovery.
When she was in the Mirror Universe before she left, like, were there scenes of her being empathetic like that? Is that what you're saying?
There have been scenes, although I am struggling for specific examples, where she's not acting like a genocidal terror lunatic.
Okay, so there's the bit with Mirror Saru, where like all of a sudden there's a couple of Kelpians.
You're not talking about this episode.
No, he's talking about this
I'm talking
episode.
about exactly this episode.
Oh no, so that's my whole point though, is because now she's on she went back in time.
Right.
So of course she's more empathetic now. And that was my whole point, is that why is she empathetic now? Was she like when she was...
I think we need to discuss what we think is happening here, because I honestly don't know, and depending on what we assume is going to color our opinions of precisely this topic, which is she went through the door. It could mean that she's gone back in time and is now possessing her past self, again, something we've seen in Star Trek before, right? And
Which is what I think.
Which is she's getting an opportunity, sort of a tapestry-style opportunity.
Right, exactly.
But even in Tapestry, it's never clear whether Picard actually got to go back in time and live this life and make different decisions, or if it was just a construct created by Q.
Right.
In this case, it could be something similar to that. Or it could be a hologram.
But okay, so
hallucination.
Regardless of what it actually ends up being, I think she's totally aware that she just went through the door. She's not reliving it in the sense that she thinks she's there. She has all of her memories from before she went through the door. She has all of herself from before she went through the door, and that's shown by the fact at the end when she's gonna kill Burnham. She previously did kill Burnham. Now she didn't, and what she said was, she's like, I know how this ends. So she's saying, I've already seen this happen.
I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm just saying we don't know if she is actually back in time and thus is staying back in time and is going to live her life forward from this time and is actually going to change actual time frame of that versus it's a psychological thing.
Okay, right. And so
to help her.
And you're right. We don't know that part yet, but my point was that when Burnham was talking about fucking up those artists, she was like disturbed. She was like, she had empathy for those artists. And I'm saying back when she actually was in that time period,
she probably didn't.
Right.
But
she learned.
So my point was
from Tilly.
When did she start feeling empathy? Was it Discovery? But but you can also say she started learning empathy because of Mirror Burnham before Discovery, because part of the reason that Burnham wanted to kill her was because she was becoming weak. She's like, you're fucking weak.
Yeah.
And the reason she was weak is because she loves Burnham.
Right.
And so she was already making the transition before she got to Discovery.
I see what you're saying. I misunderstood what you were saying before.
Yo, I like talking about it.
I was going in a different direction, but now
Dan, I would say that's brilliant.
Yeah. Hey, I did it, people.
I was just gonna.
I like your attitude.
Mention evidence of her showing changes in her personality and becoming less Terran.
Yes, most definitely. She's most definitely less Terran. I was thinking about that too, about the whole idea of when they were saying, when Cronenberg was fucking with her by saying when they first met, when he said it's like it's in your DNA or something to be a piece of shit, basically.
Right. She's like, you can't just give me a reason why I'm a piece of shit.
Yeah. And so, but then you think that whole universe, everyone's like all fucked up, but then it's like, well, what caused all that? You'd assume there'd be something that would. It's just a hard universe to live in, I guess.
I think we do need to discuss now whether Kovich is playing some Trumpian style 444D chess here. Actually, it's much less. It's like fucking 3 or 4D chess.
45.
Because he does tell her that. He's fucking with her right from the start. He doesn't tell her what could be possibly happening to her. He gives that information to Culber.
Yeah, he's like, I could have told you
which,
that.
By the way, he did not need to give that information to Culber, but he did. Mm-hmm. Now, for whatever reason, he did. Right?
But he's still kind of rubbing his face in it.
I'm just making the point that, like,
it's like, you should have come to me soon.
I'm making an argument here. Right. An argument for the idea that Kovich wanted Georgiou to go to that planet and go through that door.
Yeah, right.
I'm making that argument because Kovich has been presented thus far as not omnipotent, of course, but your typical, again, the reason why we think he's Section 31 is he has that air of somebody who knows all the angles. He's always calm. As you described earlier, Dan, he's calm when Culber asks the sphere data combined computer if there's an idea to help Georgiou.
He's a mirror universe buff. He knows.
He likes the mirror universe.
He knows all about that mirror universe.
He knows all about stuff like that.
He's all like, my birthday was April, whatever the fuck.
I think there's a strong possibility that he feigned ignorance in order to manipulate Culber and the rest of them.
Because he's like, well, what does it say?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There's no way to do it.
Yeah.
There's no way to fix it. No. Not at all.
So he's still playing games.
Yeah. Or he's like, well, that's all right for movie.
I am positing that. I could be wrong about that, but I think
that's reasonable.
Positing that he manipulated things. If he is Section 31, maybe he wants her, because, the meta fact is we understand. Presumably, it's still greenlit, this new series focusing on Georgiou, and Section 31. So putting those pieces together, that meta information, she has to at some point leave Discovery and
Go back in time.
and either go back in time or some.
Oh, you think this might be a setup? Yeah, I was wondering that. Is this a setup for her to leave?
I think that, I think
Because I've
this
heard
is
a lot
the
of rumors
exit.
that it's like back, like way back in time, like 20th century or something. I've heard rumors.
That'd be
of that.
hilarious. That'd be
Yeah.
interesting. It'd be funny if it was like 4 million BC, and she's going around just talking shit to dinosaurs. 65 million years ago. I know. I'm not stupid. I was a little boy once.
I was a little boy.
She goes back
I was never
70
into
million
dinosaurs.
years.
Really?
And
I was into spaceships.
I was also into spaceships.
Well, that's
The two are not mutually exclusive,
That's
my
true,
friend.
That's true.
But you can put dinosaurs in the spaceships.
And it's
You gotta
true.
be
It's
a-
more like spaceships
a
and like
patasaurus
trucks.
But then
flying a spaceship.
but
I
then-
didn't like trucks.
But then, like you admitted,
Fuck trucks.
I know, right? I remember there was a kid who was into trucks and he was not into spaceships.
but then you admitted that you're into the original Warhammer, but the 40K one. I'm the same way. I'm into the original Warhammer. I would play 40K. It's just it never caught my attention as much.
Yeah.
40K. How much
It's-
is that display going to
Warhammer is already it's already way complicated, and if you add a bunch of crazy sci-fi shit, it gets more complicated. So it's just like, whoa, slow down. We already got a tape measure.
Yeah, it's
Like,
just
whoa.
too far removed from
I feel
reality.
the same thing about Age of Empires and StarCraft.
Yeah,
Really, Age
right,
of Mythology is my game.
I'm a Red Alert
see
guy
that one.
myself. It's
All
like
right.
I've never even played fucking Red Alert.
Back to
Fucking
Star Trek.
shit about Red Alert.
It's got shit.
It's got Star
If you want to
Trek.
talk to us about RTS video games, write us at feedback at itsgotstartrek.com.
Or at It's Got Star Trek on Twitter and Instagram. But, Twitter's more for the conversations. You can talk back and forth. You can type a thing, somebody else types a thing back to you. It's great.
It's called tweets.
Instagram's more for cute furry cakes.
And we have all sorts of friends on Twitter, like, Gibberkit and The Funniest Frontier and all these
Gibberkit.
other guys.
Totally.
All these other folks that are having a good time with their Star Trek stuff online. That's the place to be. That's where you got this.
So when
It's got this.
when Burnham was saying, when you prosper, I prosper. When you're happy, I'm happy. It sounds like she wants Georgiou to be happy, but when she's saying, when you prosper, I prosper, what she's really saying is, when you aren't doing shit, I'm pissed off. That's what she's really saying.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's like saying, like, Patrick, when you're doing well, I'm happy. It's like, I'm
Fuck
happy
you, man.
for you. It's like, no, when you're doing well, it means I'm profiting, really, so which means that if you're not doing well,
Yeah.
fuck you.
That's another angle I hadn't considered, right? That Georgiou is also... I mean, we don't know a lot about what's going on with Georgiou, but we do certainly get the impression that other than... she's been focused on the building of the Charon, right? And so who knows? Maybe she has some plans up her sleeves, but could be the others are not convinced.
You know how at one point earlier in this season, Georgiou makes a comment about how Michael Burnham is becoming her own person, and she has grown out of this thing where she's waiting for someone to tell her to do. It's maybe perhaps Mirror Burnham is being sort of controlled by Lorca. He's telling her. He's the one that's telling her what to do in the Mirror universe. That's just a thought.
I think another angle also is that maybe Georgiou, in giving that advice, she was projecting because
Yeah.
Georgiou herself
Yeah.
felt that's what's happening to her. She is separated from the core empire business, right? The whole
Right.
thing about being an emperor being problematic for various reasons, right?
Right.
It's interesting, deep. There's a lot of deep stuff
Yeah,
buried in
man.
this
Yeah.
in a
It's
very
very,
campy episode.
Yeah.
Oh, that when Tilly introduced Georgiou, it was Her Imperial Highness, Mother of the Fatherland, Overlord of Vulcan, Dominus of Konos, which they pronounce Kronos, I know, but it's spelled Konos.
Regina Andor.
Yep, Emperor Philippa Georgiou, Augustus Iaponius Centaurus.
Yeah.
Right.
At
and
that
there's all
point, she
this,
sounded like she was running out of breath.
Yeah.
That's from like the TOS episode, the Roman
it's all super like
influences.
Roman,
Yeah.
and they even mentioned some when Stamets is doing his little show. He says something about Rome, or
Oh, yeah. That's
And they do the
Stamets.
Hitlerian salutes are Roman salutes.
I would have hoped that by the time the 3000s rolled around, they would get rid of this whole like silly rhyme story thing that Stamets was doing. I thought that was it's like
Yeah, but that wasn't in the 3000s. That was in like the 2200s.
yeah.
Oh, you're right. Shit.
I thought it was funny that
You're old into the fair game.
I thought it was funny that a Terran-style human was just totally willing to sit through some jackass doing some Dr. Seuss shit. Like,
Yeah, right.
that's-
Seriously.
they're
They
just
all
sitting there
have
like,
to.
yeah.
They have to, because that's
They
the
have to,
that's the thing about the whole Terran universe. Why I'm very glad in Deep Space Nine, spoilers, in the Mirror Universe episodes there, you learn that the Terran Empire fell. And now, granted, they kind of do a little bit of a joke with, I don't know if you call it a joke, but their whole thing is that Spock, from the TOS episode, he learned some lessons from Kirk, from Prime Universe Kirk, and sort of shifted the Empire towards a more peaceful thing, and then that resulted in the Empire getting like broken up and attacked by everybody else. I guess that's what they say in Deep Space Nine, but it also makes sense because the longevity of a society that's based off of murdering your way to get promotions and ruling by fear and all that. I mean, I know it's a trite to say this at this point, but that is rarely a long-term success. Now, long-term in terms of hundreds of years, right? It's just you got to expect that kind of system is not going to stick around very long, right? So it kind of makes sense. And I could, the angle of Georgiou as an emperor, forget about her influence from Discovery, even just as a person with a lot of experience, her starting to realize that and think, hey, maybe we don't need to like just murder people. Maybe we can do other things that are also cruel, but will help us, and they're like, no, you're weak. We're not going to follow you anymore because you didn't slice her head off.
That doesn't mean they can have a silly rhyme story. Like, Jesse, that was a good point, Jesse, where it's like, why would the Terrans put up with such silliness?
I know, yeah.
Such corny silliness.
Maybe they were all happy when Stamets got stabbed in the neck.
That's just what they do.
Yeah.
Like, they were having that party, and one of the crew members, there was the apple on the head, but then there was that table, and Stamets was there, and some other people, and they were doing, was it like some
It was like the agonizer.
It was like the agonizer, but
Yeah.
just like a portable, like, little agonizer you put on your arm, and they were just sitting there going like, boo!
Yeah, right. Yeah, sitting around a table playing the agonizer game. Yeah.
It's kind of awesome.
Well, one of the lines...
It's a party agonizer.
So one of the lines in that story was, in reference to Georgiou, it said, honorable, kind, demure, from heaven sent, of spirit pure. Isn't being kind a liability? Like, I mean, maybe, was it supposed to say, oh, she was young and innocent, and now she's ruthless and cruel? It just seemed like it was celebrating the fact that she was this pretty little kind, killer or something.
I think it's sort of propaganda.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it's
just
like,
say, like, this person has ushered in a era of light and peace.
yeah,
you just say shit. That's propaganda. You just say some shit.
So, I mean, that's the only thing I can think is it's just like propaganda for the public, because it's very obviously being kind is, I mean, they will openly say to each other, being kind is weak and stupid.
I imagine it was like this under Saddam Hussein, for example, and some other leaders, where you have this charismatic leader or semi-charismatic leader, and you have people in the audience, and everyone's just playing a part. The charismatic leader doesn't want to get up there and say a bunch of bullshit. They'd rather be doing other stuff, but they do it because they're like, I got to do this. And the people in the audience are like, we know this is fucking some bullshit we have to sit through, but that's the deal. And until we can like kill somebody who's above me, I just got to bide my time and put up with this shit because she's in charge right now.
There's just an understanding. Yeah, because one of the lines was also just straight up, she brought peace and love to the whole universe, which, by the way, how can they know that if they can't even reach the Delta Quadrant, but, the whole universe? How does she know she brought peace to the whole universe? The Delta Quadrant's on the other side of the galaxy. What do they fucking know about the whole fucking universe?
Not a lot.
But they know that she brought peace and love to it.
And almost every time they like verbally proclaim like their loyalty to the emperor, and they're all like, and they like, everybody's like, all hail the emperor, and like everybody's always like going a little bit extra, so they're like, they're just trying to put on a front that like, yes, of course I support the emperor, of course I support the emperor.
The person sitting next to them.
It's like, so even though I'm plotting my next moves to take this fucking shit over.
Even Mira Michael did that.
Yeah, after Stamets got stabbed.
You see, that's when you see it especially because she's like,
long live the fucking green.
Well, and that scene when she was, after the assassination attempt, and by the way, beautifully shot scene, lots of good framing with the, Georgiou's crown with the captured star in the Charon and stuff like that,
that was pretty cool.
Again, very old school style, like very overt, very campy / borderline campy, not in a negative way, but in a proper Star Trek way. And then, I guess the ceremony is over. Michael Burnham goes wandering off to wherever she's going to wander off. Captain Killy, who I agree, Jesse, is creepy, scary.
Creepy smile.
But I like it. I mean, I enjoy that.
They're different guys are different stuff.
She's so wonderful. But Captain Killy, sort of, blocks Michael Burnham and then Georgiou and her retinue. They have this interesting interaction that I don't know. I just thought it was well acted, well choreographed.
That was cool. Yeah.
I wasn't entirely sure what was going to happen. I didn't figure she'd kill Michael. Right. I don't think I had any thoughts that she would actually do that while watching.
Tilly?
No,
Georgiou.
Georgiou. But, given what we've learned and know about Georgiou, I kind of guessed somewhat where it was going. But nevertheless, I just thought it was well put together, particularly the reaction shots when she opted not to kill Michael, I thought were interesting. Captain Killy, of course, was a little, nervous.
Yeah.
But Oo, she was the one where they made it a point to previously in the episode to do close-ups of her face where she's just looking like, yeah, fuck yeah, Georgiou. I'm with you fucking all the way, Georgiou. Yeah. You're just the fucking best. But then they did a shot of her face after Georgiou did not kill Burnham, and her face was like, what the fuck is going on?
I mean, that was really beyond the pale that she didn't kill her.
Yeah, exactly. So, she didn't follow the advice.
Right.
And she might, in the next episode, I mean, it's a two-parter. It's a little tricky to discuss because it's half a story, right? But the implication is that Oo might cause some problems.
What was it? I thought this was a clever exchange in that scene when Burnham goes, "Your weakness grows every day," and then Georgiou goes,
"My hair grows."
Burnham goes,
"By the way, something. What do you care?"
I thought it was very clever when. God damn it. Burnham goes, "Your weakness," because it has to do with growth. Yes.
Larry King.
But not that.
Look it up. Larry King, my hair grows.
Yeah. Burnham goes, "Your weakness grows every day." And Georgiou goes, "Do not confuse growth with weakness."
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
Because she has been watching videos on the internet that teach you how to be a better person.
Weakness grows, growth with weakness. Don't confuse growth with weakness. So it had a meaning that growing doesn't mean you're weak, but then it was also a play on words because she says your weakness grows. Don't confuse growth with weakness. It was like clever wordplay. and then, oh, you know what? That fucking, she did that last second weapon pull, and she somehow manages to cut her neck a little bit, even though she does that pull. Now I gotta say, who can know when someone is going to be able? So this happened twice, right? She does a weapon pull on Mirror Burnham at the end there in the execution, and she does it on Prime Burnham in that fight.
That's
right. But she doesn't get as close with Prime Burnham.
She doesn't get as close.
She doesn't really risk it with Mirror Burnham. Prime
Burnham's bad.
This is something that happens in a lot of shows and movies where it's like these friends fight. Right? And they're all swinging at each other with deadly weapons. And they just assume the other person's good enough that they'll be able to dodge it, right? Like, it's like, oh, I know their skill. If they die from this, then they must really suck more than I thought or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's always shows where friends go at it with like knives and swords and stuff, and they're having fun, and they're always dodging it. But what if they got hit? They would die. And that was like this scene. It's like, what if Georgiou had hit Burnham?
She had like a hatchet or something.
But here's the thing.
Maybe they'll have that. It was just announced yesterday, that although we had heard about it before. That new Marvel show coming out called What If. And maybe they'll do an episode where it's like, what if these friends got in a playful fight, and just murdered each other?
Yeah, right. That's a good idea. Yeah, I remember those What If comics. That was always a thing in the Marvel universe. Those What If comics. The thing is, though, is Georgiou seems to be able to stop at the very last second after taking a full swing. She just has the ability to stop at the last second. Now, how do you know when someone's going to be able to dodge? Georgiou seems to know and knows to stop the blade when the person isn't dodging, right? So when they're not dodging, she stops it. But when they are dodging, she just goes full on force. Now, if we knew when someone was going to dodge, they wouldn't be able to dodge, wouldn't they? That's the whole point of dodging. You don't know that they'll be able to do it. Why would you take a swing if you knew the person would dodge? How would you be able to stop your swing after they didn't dodge? Something you shouldn't be able to see is happening.
I see what you're saying.
Not only does your brain not act that quickly, but your bones don't either. You know what I'm saying?
Muscles.
G-force on them bones.
Yeah, so I'm just, yeah, exactly.
So yeah, write in to feedback at StarTrek.com with your thoughts on the metaphysical physics of Star Trek Discovery.
Metaphysical physics.
It's not really the right term.
Just like
Yankee Candle Home inspiration.
she's take a.
fragrance in every.
I can't even remember it. See, that's why you got to lay these tracks down right
You
away.
gotta read the cue card.
Because
Fragrance in every burn.
Because when you get a tune in your head, it's like having a dream. You think you'll remember it forever, but you
Yeah,
forget
you don't
that shit.
remember it.
Always fucking record it as soon as you get it.
you dream about a tune and then you know it turns out to be some tune that somebody else made up already anyway.
Isn't that how Paul McCartney made
yesterday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fragrance in
He stole it from somebody else. No.
No, he woke up.
He dreamed
He woke up
about
and
it.
he woke up in a dream.
Woke up in a dream.
Woke up in a dream.
But seriously, that's
Only
what
Paul McCartney can do that.
boxing's all about, that, right? Like boxers are always dodging each other, and if they knew when they were going to dodge, they just would hit him instead.
That's the point of dodging. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right. I guess I made that point.
Oh, totally. But
Yeah.
it bears repeating.
Thank you.
Suspension.
Thank you.
Suspension of disbelief.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's fair. It's no problem. It's-
Suspension of disbelief
It
is
was-
a hell of a drug.
It was worth it for the narrative. Not really narrative, just the drama. The drama.
The drama.
It was just worth
Yeah,
it.
they know how to amp up
Toboggan.
that drama.
Toboggan.
So yeah. Anyway, I guess that's the final scene of the again. This episode felt like it just went and ooh, that's a fast episode there. Whoa, that's fast.
But that's the nature of two-part episodes. You're watching it, you're into it, it's building all this shit, and then next week.
So, are there any odds and ends?
Yes.
Our copyrighted feature.
When we were talking in earlier episodes about Georgiou's sort of flashback, sort of trauma episodes, I mentioned something about like a Klingon knife. That's a Terran knife, because I forgot about how the Terrans they just carried around those knives as sidearms,
right,
so
yeah.
they could fucking kill each
But
other.
they are Klingon-ish. A lot, like a lot of Terran
they're Klingon
culture and all that has that vibe.
And that's interesting because I never really put that together, how they are sort of Klingon-ish. Dan was mentioning that earlier, how they're very Klingon-ish.
Yeah.
They're sort of Klingons without the honor or something.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
more about just sort of base animals.
Because they're more aggressive
Yeah.
than Romulans. Romulans
Yeah.
at least pretend to be all calm and polite to each other while stabbing each other slowly in the back.
Yeah, Romulans are just super sneaky and plotting and shit. Humans just wish they were like that. They just end up like stabbing each other.
Odds and ends.
I like how at the end of the scene where Georgiou and Burnham, like when Georgiou goes through, I can't remember if this is before she goes through the door or what happens, but when they fade the scene from the snowy place into space, the snow turns into the stars. It was just the way they did the fade.
Oh, lots of great transitions.
That was a cool
I
transition.
forgot to look up who the director of this episode was, but I did think it was very well directed.
I don't
Really
think
good transitions.
It wasn't Frakes.
No, this wasn't Frakes. As somebody noted on Twitter, they said it's a good thing Frakes didn't direct this because he would have given away the secret, because Frakes felt so bad about this, and he talked about this in interviews. Before season 1 of Discovery premiered, he accidentally revealed that he got to direct episodes that took place in the Mirror universe. So everyone was expecting it, even though it was still a surprise exactly how it played out. It kind of, he let the cat out of the bag because he was so exuberant and excited about directing new Star Trek.
Let's get him on the podcast.
We should. We'll call him up.
Mr.
Odds and
Frakes.
ends.
Hey, John, get on the podcast ASAP.
Mr. Frakes.
When Georgiou does walk, speaking of walking through the door, when she does walk through the door, they play that music that's all like dooga dooga zop, dooga 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 blab, dooga dooga walk walk, dooga jump.
Oh, that music.
Dooga dooga ha, dooga gaga dooga ha ha ho. And then like Killy Skull comes up and is like, worship the emperor. Hugo Jogo ha! You know, that kind of like that kind of gladiator, like Jogo Jogo ha!
Right, yeah, because
Yeah, and the music's all like
they're all welcoming her on the
right,
ship.
and that's and that music is all like some drums going duko duko duko, and then some dudes are going zop duko duko blop, walk no.
Yeah,
that kind of music.
it's mirror music.
Not like that one. What's the other kind where they're walking through some kind of like big mountainous field? You know, some kind of like sparse kind of field, and there's some birds rocking it, and the woman's going like.
You're talking about Discovery?
Then this, well, I mean, that's a common thing that a lot of.
I'm
going on. Yeah,
it's a soundtrack trope.
Yeah, sorry. I'm sorry.
That's more Lord of the Rings.
It's not. It's just. Yeah, it's just a soundtrack.
Odds and ends.
Take a candle home, inspiration.
What was it? Why did Burnham want to kill Mirror Saru? Why? Because he spoke to the.
Because she's an asshole.
Yeah,
I think she's an asshole. So I was watching.
She was saying because he spoke to the commander. No one else seemed to care that he.
Yeah, nobody gave a shit.
And all he was doing was apologizing. He was just apologizing, and it was that whole thing where he's like, "I didn't want. Did I ask for wine?" She's mad because he served wine when she didn't request it. Now I know this trick. People play this trick.
That's bullshit.
Because next time when I try to wait until that person to ask, they'll be pissed that they had to ask. You know what I'm saying? It's like, why did I have to ask? And then it's like, okay, just wait for them to ask. And they'll be like, I shouldn't have to ask. You should have been paying better attention. That's a trick that people do where you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't.
Yeah, it's servers know about that.
Is it a trick or is it just they're pieces of shit?
Yeah, they think it's tricky, but it's not. That's
like, I'm not sure if it's like an actual like trick that they're pulling.
We've never seen
they're just
Burnham.
narcissistic assholes.
We've never seen Burnham drink that much anyway, so you know, it's like, why was he bringing her some?
We saw her high on drugs in the first episode.
She was, yes.
She was digging it.
Oh,
high on some
I have a friend with red hair.
space
You must not give
mushrooms.
her this.
who did the culling in the original, like in the first season 1 or the short treks, or whenever we find out about the culling of the Kelpians?
The dominant species on their planet.
See, because they were talking about the Vaharai.
I forget what they're called.
Georgiou, when she's talking to him about the Vaharai, and Saru's all like, "You know about that?" And he says, she's like, "That, yeah, that's a sickness you get before we cull the Kelpians." Yeah. So she was saying that they cull the Kelpians.
They've taken over the, yeah. It's like
so they are the cullers.
Role of the,
yeah, they stumble across them and they're taking advantage.
Yeah. So
odds and ends.
Oh, just a few quotes from Georgiou. This is Georgiou's quote corner. She goes at one point, "Being ill simply means that my birthday is arriving sooner."
Yeah, what does that mean? I didn't get that one.
Yeah,
I was like, is that some weird existential shit?
Yeah, right? It's like you're born when you die.
Yeah, she means...
That's where it all comes together. Like,
she was equating dying with... It was as cool as your
it's
birthday.
like a Terran.
It's like a present. It's a gift.
It's a birthdays.
I don't buy it.
I
think it's some shit some people say when they're like a little insecure.
I will not buy that for a dollar.
A little insecure, things aren't working out quite the way they expected, and so they lash out.
Georgiou's quote corner. Those who, what is it? Oh yeah, those who I kill or something. I will take with me. Those who I will take with me in battle will be my servants in the afterlife. Does she wait? Was she saying? She was saying like those who I kill in battle, or those? There was some quote about. Man, I fucked this up because now I'm questioning. Because originally, what I thought the quote was basically, it's like
some Egyptian type
those
shit.
who I kill in battle will be my servants in the afterlife.
Maybe that's what it was.
So that means that, like, well, what if someone kills her and she's got a bunch of servants, and those servants have a bunch of servants? So it's like it all goes back to one emperor anyways, even in the afterlife, which sucks. But now I'm wondering if she meant those who I bring with me into battle to fight with me. But then I wouldn't want to go to battle with you if it meant I was going to be your servant for eternity. So which is it?
Is it better to reign in hell or to serve in heaven?
Dan, I think you're firmly on record as having some fundamental disagreements with Terran cultural structure and social organization.
Dan is firmly of this universe.
Not Terry.
So if you want to complain to Dan, just write into feedback at itsgotstartrek.com or contact us on, where is it, Dan, on Twitter?
At It's Got Star Trek.
That's right. So you can reach out at It's Got Star Trek and you can explain why we're assholes for having some minor disagreements with the social organization of the Mirror Universe.
Okay.
I look forward to those fucking comments.
Defend the Terran hegemony.
The last hegemony.
Hegemony.
There, I
I'm not
said it
racist.
properly.
I'm just saying that all Kelpians should be, cold
I'm
and we
just
should
saying.
eat their fucking ganglia.
I'm just saying.
I'm not racist.
What was that?
I'm just saying I'm hungry.
What was that say? He spelled cool.
Millennial writers.
What? Oh man.
That was the most hilarious review ever.
What did he spill on her? Like some kind of spilled Coors sauce.
Coors.
Coors sauce. K-U-U-R. Coors.
Coors sauce is when you mix Coors with cocktail sauce.
Oh, delicious.
And you just eat it with a spoon.
Well, they kept talking
it's
about
really
how they were
popular
gonna-
out in Colorado.
They kept talking about how they're going to eat those Kelpians after they kill them. Is that what they do after
they eat their ganglia.
They cull the Kelpians and they make them into soup?
I think they just eat the ganglia.
It's like eating their penises and
The
vaginas.
ganglia,
No, it's like eating
ganglia
their
looks
fucking
all
ganglia.
right. They're like, I would eat that.
Ganglia is weird. Ganglia is a private thing that shouldn't normal
curry.
people
Yeah,
shouldn't
Yeah, but
see.
why? What about
like
when you're
a-
eating like scallops,
Like a
sushi
red
or
curry
something?
sauce and some pepper in there.
It's for the privacy of your own home. That ganglia. I had one last quote from the
Odds and ends.
One last quote.
from the Georgiou's
we're
quote
still
corner.
in Georgia's quart corner.
Jan Michael Quadrant Vincent.
when they're on that planet with that dude with the snow hat,
Carl.
Carl, yeah. She goes, that infernal paper says I'm dead. They actually use the word infernal, which I was like, kind of like.
She's used some clever language like
It's
that.
like infernal.
totally.
It's like that's something you hear though out of an '80s cartoon.
It's
or something.
anachronistic language.
Yeah.
It's anachronistic language.
Yeah, it was fine. It was just kind of like
because Carl's got all the anachronistic trap-ins. Like, he's got a crazy bowler hat and antique suit. He's sitting on some kind of lawn
Cigar.
chair.
He's just sitting on an Adirondack chair.
an Adirondack
Like
chair.
that you
That's
can get at
exactly
Home
what that
Depot.
is. Yeah.
I mean, maybe it
He's
was
reading a newspaper. Who reads a newspaper nowadays?
maybe it was a
An asshole.
she was
You
talk-
hear that, assholes? Somebody's walking down the street listening to our podcast with a fucking New York
They
Times.
dropped it. They dropped it in the street. They're like, what?
Jesse called me an asshole.
Well, Burnham
He's
was
so nice.
Giorgio was saying to Burnham, she was like, "I'll go burn in hell with my good
Yeah, she said maybe I should go, join the other Giorgio
in hell."
or-
So that was another. So hell, infernal. We're like talking with this Carl guy. With this, we're into some weird spirituality. I don't know.
You got a pretty
I'm just kind
standard
of like,
door. You got a pretty standard door frame. It looked to me to be about 32 inches.
I don't think
32
that.
inches wide, I think.
I don't think there was necessarily any connection between infernal and hell and all that stuff. I think they just threw that word in there just for the hell of it.
That's the thing about these writers. They're going to throw words at you one way or
Like
the
that
other.
infernal. Anyway, okay, cool.
They got good writers on this show.
Yeah,
It's
I mean-
good stuff.
So
Yeah.
is that the end of the
Yeah.
Quilty's quote corner?
Yes.
Quilty.
Quilty.
Oh, this isn't the quote corner.
Lolita.
There was
Quilty.
There's two.
Lolita.
There's two things.
Your mother's dead, Lolita. You have to live with me now.
At near the end, when Killy pulls a gun on Burnham and says, "Hello, Captain," and
James
smiles all
Mason.
weird. When she smiles all weird, and then Giorgio is walking towards them, there is an obvious overdub. If you watch after Killy goes, "Hello, Captain," at the end, and you see Giorgio walking towards, you can see Giorgio's talking, but her lips aren't moving. It was very obviously overdubbed, which is common, but it just like
is common.
it's funny when you can see it.
It is funny.
And also when Giorgio, what I was saying about the kick, when Giorgio attacked Burnham, she was doing like a kicking with her right foot. And then it quickly switched shots. And this is a shot I looked at 10 times, and I still can't give a definite answer because it was so quick. But when they switched angles, it looked like she was finishing up a kick with her left foot. So she started
Here's what
kicking with
you
her right, and then they switched shot, and suddenly she's kicking with her left.
Well, she's such a fucking ninja that you just don't even know what she's
It's happened
doing.
that
She's just
fast,
flipping feet here and
And
there.
if you want to
Back and
confirm
forth.
it, you got to take that extra step, Dan, where
Terry.
you have to take a screenshot, load it up in a Photoshop or some other editor, fucking play with the contrast, increase that fucking brightness all the way up.
She was in that
All the way up.
And then you'll
Crouching
see-
Tiger movie, right?
Yeah, she was in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Hell yeah.
the show,
Captain
yeah.
Tiger movie?
Hell yeah.
Crouching Tiger.
thought that Jesse-
Captain Tiger is
I thought
something
Jesse was like,
That's
Captain
that Netflix
Tiger.
series.
I thought he was doing it. He didn't know what he was called, so he called it the Captain Tiger. Anyway.
Captain Crunch.
So no, I was
Jesse's an idiot.
I was like, I was wishing I had some sort of frame by frame
He's so
mechanism
nice.
on my immediate player, but I didn't have a frame by frame mechanism on that.
No,
player, so-
frame by frame is not going to be good enough. You've got to screen cap. So load up that file.
And then enhance.
So go on to CBS.com or CBSAllAccess.com in the future to be like Paramount Plus or some shit. In case you're listening in the future, and load up that show, do your screen capture, grab that, load that into a video, into a Photoshop or other picture editor.
Photoshop.
Up that contrast, up that brightness, and then you will see some legs, and you'll solve this mystery. You'll report back to us next week.
Fragile.
All right. Yeah.
That's a good idea, because that's exactly what I need to do.
All right, so that's what Dan's going to do. That's his homework assignment for next week. You in the audience, your homework assignment for next week.
You got to watch the next episode.
You got to watch the next episode. And by the way,
if you don't watch it, you don't know what's going on.
There's a lot of week in between now and then. Right?
Oh, it's like 7 days or something.
So you can go watch other episodes and go check them out on our podcast, which, by the way, as we may have mentioned in the past,
we've got 54 fucking episodes.
We may have mentioned that in the last episode. On our website, you can actually organize the podcast by series. So all the Star Trek series and movies and general topics, click on the fucking button and you'll only get to see those. So if you're all about TNG, no problem. Click on TNG.
If you like Voyager, we got like 2 podcasts you can listen to.
Yeah, we got a few. I think we like.
If you like
maybe
Enterprise, we got a few.
We got a few. We got at
You should
least a few.
specify
For each
we have
of
a
them.
few podcast episodes, not. I was thinking it was like we have a few entire podcasts.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Two. We have
I think we
two
only
separate
have 2.
podcasts about Voyager.
I think we only have 2.
No, but
I'm
episodes.
not even bullshitting that. I think that's true.
No, yeah.
We're
we
going
just
to do
have
this podcast
So,
for a
yeah.
while, and then eventually we'll switch and we'll do like all the series from the start to the finish
Yeah.
in order. And we'll redo the episodes because our opinions will have changed.
They have credits in the Mirror universe.
It's got eternity.
It's got credits. Anyway, that'll do it for us this week. You can contact us, as you know, by this point in the podcast at feedback@itsgotstartrek.com. You can get us on Twitter. Where can you get us on Twitter and Instagram, Jesse?
800-202-1067. That's 800-202-1067.
Seventh caller wins a prize. Jesse, what is the social media handle that we use?
It's got Star Trek.
It's at It's Got Star Trek. That's right.
I had it the right answer.
So It's Got Star Trek. You can find us on your general social media. We're on Facebook, YouTube, all that stuff. Go check out our stuff. Go check out the website where you can organize shit however you want. We got all sorts of filters and shit. You're going to love it. In the meantime, we hope you enjoyed this episode. You will definitely enjoy next week's episode.
Oh, yeah.
Because it'll be a conclusion to a 2-part story, and that's bound to be interesting to talk about, whether it's great or whether it's total shit and disappointing. We'll let you know.
I bet it'll be good.
What we think one way or the other. So with that, I will say goodbye. How about you, Dan?
Yeah, goodbye.
All right. And how about you, Jesse?
Goodbye.
All right.
Thank you.
Goodbye from all of us. Have a lovely week.
Overlord of Vulcan, Dominus of Cronus, Regina Andor, such gravis onus, Slayer of Klingons, daughter of Rome, welcome, Georgiou, to your new palace home.